Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for sparing your valuable time on a Sunday evening and joining us here today. Today we are here, we are not going to talk about any product, we're not going to sell you any scheme. Today is a day of dreams. We're going to be talking about dreams. We're going to be talking about how you can achieve a very major dream, and it is possible. We started Sahayak Associates 4 years ago. This was in December 2016. In December 2016, and suddenly demonetization happened, and we were wondering, how will this business shape up? But we were lucky, I feel, that suddenly the money came out of the closet and got into bank FDs and into mutual funds and to other things. And, our process started. One day we were sitting, Puneet, my partner, and we were sitting and we were just discussing, how should we approach this business? So, we didn't want to be selling only mutual funds. We didn't want to be selling only, we didn't want that people should come and say, or we should approach people should say, कि मेरा भी 10,000 का SIP लगा दो या 50,000 का SIP लगा दो. We wanted to be moving people towards goals. We wanted that, you share your goals with us and we help you achieve those goals. So we said, okay, let's try it out. What we did was we called a peon, our peon in the office, and then we asked him, कि भाई तेरा क्या goal है life में? He was 24, 25 years old, come from a village. We were paying him a salary of around 10,000 rupees a month. He said, साहब मेरे पे तो बहुत कर्जा है, तो पहले तो कर्जा उतारना है, तो उसके बाद, तो हमने कहा उसके बाद क्या? तो कहता साहब मैं जब यहाँ से जाऊँ रिटायरमेंट के बाद तो मेरे पास 8 करोड़ रुपए होना चाहिए. We said, wow, now that is a goal. A man earning 10,000 rupees a month wanted to achieve a corpus of 1 CR. That is definitely a goal. So we said, okay, let's work it out. How much does he need to invest? And we checked it out, and the only investment that he required was anybody's guess how much? Anybody's guess to achieve 1 CR over the next 35 years. It was a very small amount. It was something like 817 rupees or something. So we said कि boss 1,000 रुपए का तुम एक SIP शुरू करो और तुम 1,000 का SIP करोगे हम तुम्हारे साथ उतना ही हम तुम्हारे लिए डालेंगे तो 2,000 का SIP तुम्हारा हो जाएगा and you start and you'll have that much money. He started that process. Once he started that process, now it's been what 4.5 years, right? And he's invested close to what 1,20,000 odd, and today he has more than 3 lakhs in his bank account, and for him 3 lakhs is a lot of money. For somebody who has that kind of money, and coming from a village indebted, so we said fine. Now that was a very big game changer for us, in our thought process towards how to approach this business. The second major change happened, when we met a young man. I'm going to introduce you to him after some 2 minutes. And we had a chat with him, and he blew up our mind. So before I add anything further, may I request Dhairya, a young friend, to please come onto the stage. We'll just have a small chat with him, and he'll share his dreams with you. Dhairya, please come on. Where would you like to sit?
Anywhere.
Wonderful. Why don't you just introduce yourself to everybody?
My name is Dhairya. I study at Strawberry Fields High School at class 5.
Oh, wonderful. And how old are you?
I'm 10 years old.
10 years old. And Dhairya, what do you want to do? What do you want to achieve in life?
I wish to become a doctor.
Wish to become a doctor?
Author.
Author, okay, wonderful. And what kind of books do you want to write?
Fantasy, adventure, suspense.
Fantasy, adventure, suspense. And have you started this process of writing?
Yes.
You have? Oh, wonderful. You must share your writings with me sometime.
Definitely.
Okay? Now tell me one thing. I'm sure you made some financial goals also. Authors' earnings can be very, very erratic. So how do you manage, how do you think you live your life if the money doesn't come in?
I honestly don't know.
You honestly don't know?
No.
Tell me one thing. Let's say if God was to appear before you tomorrow.
Yes.
And he was to ask you how much money would you like to have at the age of 25?
Around 50 crores.
Around 50 crores. Oh, wow,
I mean,
wonderful.
I shall definitely achieve that goal. I wish to exceed my expectations.
You'll be exceeding your expectations.
Definitely.
But have you started doing something or working towards that goal?
Yes.
Okay, what do you do?
I traded the stock market.
Oh, wow, you trade the stock markets.
Yes.
And how do you know which stock to buy? But how did you get into this first? How did you start trading into the stock markets?
It's a really interesting story. The toothpick story.
Okay,
So I was really bored one day and I just started walking around the house doing nothing. When I saw my father walking and I asked him what he was doing, he said he was doing some shares business. And then he gave me a little drill like which companies to buy and which companies not to buy in.
okay,
And a little pop quiz, which I must say I did exceptionally well in.
okay. Then what happened? Then what happened after that?
Then, that was when I was 8 years old.
Right,
I kept learning, growing.
Right.
And when I was 9, I started trading.
you started trading.
When I was 9.
Okay. Tell me one thing, do you know of somebody else who started trading when he was very young and today is very rich?
Warren Buffett?
Warren Buffett. You know about Warren Buffett?
Yes.
And when did he start?
He started when he was 13 years old
Okay.
and has now become a billionaire.
He become a billionaire. So
Yes.
you also want to be like Warren Buffett and become a billionaire.
Yes.
Tell me one more thing. Now that you started, how much money do you think you will have by the time you are 20? You already started investing. So how much money will you have by the time you are 25, 30, 35, 40?
50 crores, but I am promising I shall exceed my expectations
Okay. Why do you think you will do that?
because I have people supporting me, helping me, making me learn, grow.
Okay.
That is why.
But how will your investments help you grow?
Investments?
The shares that you buy. But tell me one thing before we do that. What kind of shares do you buy?
I buy shares that are everyday use.
Like for example?
Have you ever eaten a dark fantasy?
Yeah.
Well, ITC makes these delicious cookies.
Okay.
It is a company that is represented nearly everywhere.
Okay. So you buy ITC shares.
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. That is a very, very good thing that you do. Right? And what other companies do you buy?
I buy at Reliance, Dabur, SBI.
Okay. And do you also invest in mutual funds?
Yes.
You know about mutual funds?
Yes.
What are mutual funds?
For example, a person gives another person their money to invest.
Okay.
That is a mutual fund.
That is a mutual fund. So have you given money to somebody else to invest?
Yes.
Okay, great. Tell me one thing. Now that you'll achieve your goal, I'm sure, right? And you'll have 50 crores with at the age of 25, right? So what will you do with that money?
I shall divide it into 4 portions.
Okay,
The first portion, I shall save.
okay,
Savings are important. If we do not save, and if a glorious opportunity comes by, we can't get it. We can't seize it.
okay,
The second portion, I shall give to funds,
right.
orphanages, because
Charity is important.
yes,
Okay.
we must help everyone else. We should take their hands and make them go up with us.
Okay. And what next?
I shall spend some on myself.
Oh, that is very important.
Yes. If you have money, enjoying it is important.
Yes, I agree with you fully.
And
People enjoy even if they don't have the money.
And, the,
Carry on, but
and the fourth and one of the most important is investing it.
right. Where would you like to invest?
At the moment, I shall invest in Dabur.
Okay.
It has been rising like quite a lot.
Okay. Wonderful. Now, tell me one thing. Do you read about investing also? Have you read
Yes.
any books about investing?
Yes.
What kind of books?
I have read Rich Dad Poor Dad for Teens.
Rich Dad Poor Dad for teens.
Yes.
But you are 10 years old. You're not even a teen yet.
Yes. I wanted to think by a perspective of someone older
Okay.
in money so that you could get more experience, learn and grow more.
Right. Wonderful. That I think is a very good thought. So, okay. Now that you invest, do you have any questions for us?
One, actually a few.
Okay.
When did you start investing?
Oh, I started investing very early. I started investing when I was, no, not very early actually. I didn't start investing when I was your age, but I started investing when I started earning money, and that was at the age of around 23, 24 years.
Yes. When did you actually get to know the stock market?
That is a very important question, and let me tell you, I still don't know the stock market. You know, because the stock market is very difficult to understand, and I don't think anybody understands it.
In a long term?
In the long term, yes. In the long term, see what happened. Do you know about the power of compounding?
Yes.
What is the power of compounding?
I'll give you an example. There was once a king who was really good at chess. He
Okay.
was the ardent Vishwadatam of his time.
Right.
He challenged everyone to chess and none could beat him.
Okay.
But then there was one person who beat him in chess.
Okay.
The king asked him what did he want, and he said, I want a kernel of rice.
Kernel of rice.
Yes,
Right.
and keep doubling it by each square of the chessboard.
Right.
For those of you who may not know, a chessboard has 64 squares.
Yeah, I think some people may not know that.
Yes. He kept doubling it from
Okay.
1 to 2 to 2 to 4.
Right.
The king laughed at his silly request. In the end, he had to take rice from his neighboring countries for 700 long years.
Okay.
The total amount of rice was 18 million trillion.
18 billion trillion kernels.
Yes.
And imagine if he had asked for 1 rupee.
He
Right.
would have become a,
Oh my God, he would have been a very, very rich man.
yes.
Right? So that is what, that is the biggest thing about the stock market, and that is something which I learned very late, that the actual money is made through the power of compounding.
Yes. This is an example of the power of compounding.
Okay, yeah. Thank you for teaching us that. What else? Any other question?
You might have learned a lot about stock market, but have you seen it from a bigger perspective? Have you met any celebrities who have known the stock market for quite some time?
Yeah, once I met Harshad Mehta.
Harshad Mehta?
Yeah.
The
It
big,
was 1991 or 1992. I happened to go to the Dalal Street, and there I met him. Do you know about Harshad Mehta?
yes.
How do you know about Harshad Mehta?
I watched a series on him.
Okay.
Yes.
So I think you like him. That is what it appears.
I like his methods.
You like his methods.
The methods can make nearly anyone a billionaire.
Okay. But he was jailed for those methods.
Yes. He used them for unfair means. Like,
Unfair means, no?
Yeah.
I think that is something which one should not do.
but if someone can purify them and use them fairly and nicely, then that person can easily become one of the richest people on
One
earth.
of the richest people on earth. I tell you, if you ask me, you should be an author definitely, but you should also become an investment banker. You'll make a very good investment banker.
Definitely.
Yeah? So you will give it a thought.
Of course.
I think you will be able to convince a lot of people to invest money.
Agreed.
Right? Thank you so much, Dhairya, for your time. Thank you so much. Dhairya, we have a small gift for you.
Okay.
It is something which you like. It is a lot of books and some chocolates. But you have to promise me one thing. You must share those chocolates with your sister. You will?
Agreed.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dhairya. She'll help you carry it back to your table.
No,
It's
I
fine.
can. I have to inform you, I have read nearly all of these books.
You've nearly read them. Okay, these books were bought from English book shop.
Yes.
So you can. I told him this, and I told him that he'll come and exchange it. So you can go and exchange these books.
Okay?
Okay. All
Yep.
the best.
Will you be able to carry?
Yes,
Yeah, take it easy.
I shall.
So friends, this is Dhairya, and he was really, really an eye-opener for us. And we thought, if Dhairya can aim so big, so why can't we make our friends, our associates, our family, aim big? So that is how the entire process started. So we said, let's dream big. So today is all about dreams. So how do we achieve these dreams? Today is going to be all about that. So empowering the 1 billion dream. So we said, Dhairya, if he can achieve or he can aim for 50 crores, 100 crores, why can't we make our kids do the same? Or why can't we do the same thing for our kids? So dream big. That's what it's all about. There are some very basic rules of investing which we feel they are the basic rules of investing. The first rule is that any investment that you do has to beat inflation post-taxes. That is the first rule. The second is the rule of risk optimization. See, not everybody can take every kind of risk. So we have to see, how much risk can we take, and that is how we should invest. The third thing is, don't look for excitement in investing. Find a boring investment and please stick to it. If you want excitement, we tell everybody that we meet, if you want excitement, please go to the casino. But the investment, let it be boring and let it happen like that. The fourth thing is, don't aim for the best returns. Aim for achievement of financial goals, as we said. And the magic wand in investing is the power of compounding. That, my friends, is the biggest thing that I can share with you today, is the power of compounding. And for compounding, you have to give it time. I'll just give you an example. We'll come to it, why equity. Just a simple example of if you invest 10 lakh rupees, in different asset classes, in a fixed deposit, in a PPF, in balanced mutual fund, in equity mutual funds, over 25 years, what is the difference? In a FD, it comes to 37 lakhs, and in a equity mutual fund, it comes to 3.29 crores. This is based on the past performances. But I'll tell you something which I think a lot of people here will understand better. This is understanding compounding the single malt way. A 12-year-old single malt is 35 pounds. A 21-year-old is 150 pounds. But as you move on, a 30-year-old is 575 pounds, a 40-year-old 3,200 pounds, and a 50-year-old 25,000 pounds. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the power of compounding. As you go older, so the prices keep on increasing. As you spend more time, that is how the price keeps on increasing. During the last 42 years, this is how your wealth multiplied. If you invested in FD, gold, silver, equity, this is how your wealth multiplied. It was 15 times, 49 times, 63 times, and 561 times. That is how the wealth multiplied over a period. The choice is yours, where you want to invest. Now, some people will say real estate gives us a very good return. Yes, real estate gives us a very good return. Why real estate gives you a very good return? The biggest reason why real estate gives you a very good return is because that is the only asset class you actually allow to compound. When you buy a real estate and you let it be for the next 20, 25 years. But even real estate, if we compare, let's say somebody bought a 1 canal house in 1980 for 5 lakhs. Right? Today it is 7 CR. The CAGR return that he got was 13%. The equity gave him 16.33%. Even then it was better. I'll tell you a small story on that. Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, I'm sure a lot of people out here know about Rakesh Jhunjhunwala. Once his mother got after him. She said, please, come on, you have to buy a house here. Why don't you buy a house? So he bought a house in 2001 for some 1.5 CR or something at Nepean Sea Road. He bought a flat. The flat was sold recently for some 20 odd CR. So his mother told him, see, I told you, look at how much it has grown. And then what he had to tell her? He said, I bought this flat by selling the shares of Titan. And today those shares would have been worth 300 CR. So that is the difference between real estate and this. The other major difference is, real estate is a big ticket item. You have to invest a very major amount. This you can start as small as 1,000 rupees. So these are the advantages of, the markets. If you look at the markets, 1990 it was at 781. This is how the markets grew over the decade. 2010 it was 17,000, 2021 it was 49,000. Over the next 10 years, what will the market be? We don't know. But if you look at the past history, It is being growing at 3 times, 5 times, 10 times in a decade. So possibly in the next decade also it will grow by that much, which will be much bigger than anything. So this is the total market cap of the BSE. There will be corrections. This asset class is like this, that there will be corrections. These are the occasions when market have corrected by more than 25%. But still 54%, 61%, 40%, but still the market has grown by 560 times over the last 42 years. In the past 42 years, we've had 2 wars, major financial scandals, assassination of prime ministers, everything possible that could have gone wrong has gone wrong. But still the market has given that kind of return. Where will the Sensex be in the next 42 years? The last 42 years, Sensex has given a return of 16.26%. If it gives the same return, first thing is, do you think the next 40 years will be better than the previous 40? Definitely yes. If it will be definitely better than the previous 40, then where do you think the market will be in the next 42 years? Anybody, any guess? 56,000 today, at the same rate of growth, where do you think the market will be next 40 years? You can use the calculators also if you want, there's no problem. Any wild guesses, please? Yeah, no, you can't answer, my friend. No, you also can't answer. Anybody, please? 3 lakh, 5 lakh, 10 lakhs, 50 lakhs? More? How much? Let me just answer that question for you. The market will be at 3 crore 14 lakhs. The Sensex will be at 3 crore 14 lakhs. Now, what does this mean? I'll give you a very interesting example. Let's say you start a SIP of 56,000 rupees today for your child. After 40 years when they retire, they can have an income of 3 crore 14 lakh every month. That is what it means. Even with inflation, even with whatever, right, this is going to be a lot of money. But you'll have to just invest and leave it. This is not an investment advice, I'm just telling you. Even a mutual fund, in the last, let's say 25 years, it has given this kind of growth. Now what happens, I'll tell you. Why we are saying this, that this growth will happen? Is it just wishful thinking, or what is it? I think it is much more than that. You know what happened? Let's do a small comparison. In 1991, when liberalization took place, the GDP was at $250 billion. Today the GDP is approximately $3 trillion. It has gone up by 12 times. The market at that time was around 1,000, today it is 56,000. So if the GDP grows by 12 times, the market grows by 50 times. Look at any period. The markets grow at a much faster rate than the GDP growth. Where will the markets be in the next, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? I don't know. We'll see possibly where it will be. Let's talk about India. Let's talk about India's investment story, and let me make a clarification. This is not going to be a political statement. We are not favoring any party. We are not doing anything of that sort, right? It is a general statement about India. And the theme today is going to be don't bet against India. We have a small AV for you.
India evolves, and what evolves biologically is permanent. And nothing is tops down, it's all bottoms up. So I have the same thought, I had it 10 years ago, and I had it now, I have it now, and I think I'll have it as long as I live.
You'll tell me a wonderful company in India that might be available for sale tomorrow.
Best future place in the world.
It's a huge, enormous market for one thing, but beyond that, You can't have a billion people not be important to this world.
This was just Warren Buffett and Rakesh Jhunjhunwala talking about India and possibly about the Indian markets and where should they be headed. Why? Why don't bet against India? This is how India evolved since independence. If you look at these figures, the population, the GDP was actually around $15 billion at the time of independence. Today the GDP is 3 trillion. We were talking about compounding earlier. Let me just give you one small example related to this. It took us 60 years to reach 1 trillion. It took us 60 years to reach 1 trillion. We became 1 trillion in 2007. Then it took us 10 years to reach the next trillion. Then now the third trillion we've reached in less than 5 years. The next trillion is coming much faster. So when we say we're going to reach 5 trillion by 2025 or 26, what is going to happen? The amount of money which has been made in the last 75 years is going to be made in the next 5 years. That is the kind of wealth which is going to be created. So are you a part of that wealth creation, or do you want to be a part of that wealth creation? That is what it is all about. Look at any of the parameters, and this is how we've done, and the next 40 years we're going to be doing much, much better. But incomes grew faster than prices after 1991. If you look at it, this is how the prices went up of the commodities that we consume regularly, but the incomes went up by more than 20 times, the per capita income. That went up by more than 20 times. The slider. Okay. What are the main factors for the growth of the Indian economy? The first is demographic profile. We are a very young country. Our average age is 28, 29 years as compared to Europe or as compared to the other countries. Europe, the average age is close to 45, 46 years. Who spends money? There is a mix of the crowd out here today. There's some youngsters, there's some middle-aged, some old people. Right? Who spends money? It's the youngsters who go and spend money. Today, you see the youngsters earning a lot of money. They pass out of college, they do a professional degree, and suddenly you find, that they're earning, let's say, multi-lakh packages. So what do they do? What do you think they do? They don't have any liabilities to pay off. They don't have anything else to do. So they go and spend money. So that is why when the population is younger, you have more people earning and you have more people spending. The next thing is women power. Today what is happening is more women are going into the, they're going and working for a living. Even after this major progress which has happened in the last maybe 15, 20 years, the total percentage of women working is still less than 25%. And what do women do when they go and work? What do you think they do? Do they save? Do they anything? I think they go to Tanishq or they go to Mr. Anil Talwar and they go and buy a set. That is, I think, what they do. So that is where the spending happens. When more women start earning, your income starts doubling and you start spending. The reforms, definitely, again, no political statement, but the reforms are definitely helping. I think we're all aware how the reforms have helped. Rural power. The rural economy is suddenly taking off. Apart from the growth in the rural economy because of, let's say because of the crops doing well and that kind of a thing. What is another very major source of income in the rural economy recently? In the last 5 years, National Highway Authority of India has distributed more than 4 lakh crores in the rural India to acquire land for building roads. 4 lakh crores. Now what has the farmer done with that? The farmer has gone, right? First thing that he did was he went and bought some additional land. अगर उसका 1 एकड़ एक्वायर हुआ तो उसने जाके 2-3 एकड़ लिया दूर. दूसरा उसने क्या किया? उसने महिंद्रा का जीप लिया, उसने ट्रैक्टर लिया, he sent his son to the college and all those kind of things. That is what he did. He started spending. That is where the income came from. Today I was reading the other day 25th unicorn has been, there's been the 25th unicorn has got formed in this year. That is the kind of investment which has come in. The total investment in startups in this year so far has been around $40 billion. Till around 2 or 3 years ago, that was not even the amount of FDI in India. Today, that is the amount in which startups are getting to start investing. So that is where the money is coming from. And what is happening? See, when money is invested in startups, what happens? It gets burnt. It's used in paying salaries, it's used in paying in traveling, and used in building processes, systems, buying assets. That is the kind of thing which happens. Right? That is where money, and the multiplication factor of that kind of money is huge. Like we were talking about the next trillion. So again, why India? Because of all these reasons. I'll tell you another thing, infrastructure. I'm sure most of you, all of you would have traveled abroad. It is said that one person's spending is the other person's income. आप लोग यूरोप जाते हैं, पेरिस गए हैं, तो पेरिस में शायद आपने देखा होगा मेट्रो है. When was that metro formed? That metro was made in 1916 or something. Today in India, there are 32 places where a metro is being constructed. Nowhere in Europe there is a metro being constructed. Today in India, there are, I think, thousands of kilometers. I think the daily average is some 25 kilometers of roads a day. Have you seen anywhere in abroad roads being constructed? Today spending is happening on infra, and that spending is leading to incomes. In those countries it is not happening, for whatever reason. Suraj. Democracy again, very big thing. Demography we talked about. Like I was telling you, dollar inflows and forex reserves. In 1991, we had less than $6 billion of forex reserves left, and we had to go and pledge our gold. Today we are in a situation we have more than $600 billion of foreign reserves. This is a very interesting slide. Now what happens? Linear growth, exponential opportunity in consumption. See what happens today, our per capita income is $2,000. Now $2,000 is an average of 50,000 rupees per family. Now 50,000 rupees per family में क्या होता है कि आपका basic खर्चा चलता है, दाल, रोटी, कपड़ा, that kind of a thing, rent देना है, वो सब चलता है. Now when the economy grows, let's say when it becomes 5 trillion and we'll be a $4,000 economy, when it becomes $4,000 per capita, your average family income will be 1 lakh. The खर्चा still remains the same. 50,000 का 60,000 होगा. तो बाकी 40,000 कहाँ जाता है? वो डिस्क्रिशनरी स्पेंडिंग में जाता है. वो आप एंटरटेनमेंट करते हैं, ईटिंग आउट करते हैं, मूवी देखने जाते हैं, गाड़ी लेते हैं, ब्रांड्स खरीदते हैं. That is what happens, and that is the difference. I'll give you an example. See, when China was at a $2.5 trillion economy, their penetration of air conditioners was around 13%. 13%. That was the kind of penetration of air conditioners. When it became a $5 trillion economy, the AC penetration went up to 70%. 70. That was the kind of thing which happened. Today it is at almost 95%. In India, the same thing is going to happen. आपने देखा होगा कि आपने सुना होगा, पढ़ा होगा कि कुछ देर पहले लास्ट ईयर एक आया कि जी every village in the country has got electrified. Wonderful. I think it was a cause for big applause. But what was that electrification? पंचायत तक बिजली पहुंच गई. But अगले 1 साल, 2 साल, 5 साल में क्या होने वाला है? हर घर तक बिजली पहुंचेगी. जब हर घर तक बिजली पहुंचेगी तो क्या होगा? सबसे पहले तो बिजली की तार बिकेगी, फिर बल्ब बिकेगा, फिर पंखा बिकेगा, फिर आहिस्ता आहिस्ता अप्लायंस बिकने शुरू होंगे, फिर फ्रिज आएगा, वॉशिंग मशीन आएगी, टीवी आएगा, वो सब चीज आएगी. तो क्या होगा? दैट इज हाउ थिंग्स विल हैपन. Can anybody tell me what is the number of two-wheelers that we sell in India today? Anybody, any guess? Number of two-wheelers that we sell in India currently per year? Let me just tell you, The total number of two-wheelers that we sell in India currently is around 2.5 CR. 20 लाख हम टू व्हीलर बेचते हैं महीने के. अब अगले 5 साल 6 साल में क्या होने वाला है? आज जो वो टू व्हीलर वाला है वो क्या करने वाला है? गाड़ी खरीदने वाला है बॉस. जब वो गाड़ी खरीदने वाला है तो इकोनॉमी तो बढ़ने वाली है ना. तो गाड़ी खरीदेगा तो क्या होगा? तो बॉस स्टील भी लगेगी, न जाने कितना कितना चीज लगेगी. सो दैट इज हाउ द इकोनॉमी ग्रोज. वी आर अ यंग कंट्री, वी आर अर्निंग, we are spending on infra. That is where the growth is going to be coming from. And going forward, our monthly expense is virtually going to remain the same, but our monthly incomes are going to explode. And that is when discretionary spending starts happening, and which has the highest multiplication factor. This is the penetration rate of consumer durables in India. Microwave, fans, television. Just look at it. Air conditioners 7%. Today we are at 7%. In the next 5, 7, 10 years, we'll be at 70%. And please don't go and buy Blue Star stock. I'm not recommending that. I'm just telling you what, I don't know which AC is going to sell. Now, how Sensex 2 lakhs can happen? Let us just calculate, can it happen? We have very conservative figure, 2 lakhs. So 12 to 13% nominal GDP growth, 7 to 8% GDP growth, plus 4 to 5% inflation. Generally corporate profits grow at slightly higher than GDP growth. Let's say 15%, they'll grow. Market growth broadly in line with corporate profit growth. So 15% CAGR over the next 10 years is 2 lakhs. अगर 15% की ग्रोथ हो रही है तो क्या हो रहा है कि हर 5 साल के बाद आपका पैसा डबल हो रहा है. अगर हर 5 साल के बाद पैसा डबल हो रहा है तो 56,000 1 लाख 2 लाख 10 साल में ये होने वाला है. दिस इज सिंपल मैथ्स. दिस इज व्हाट इज गोइंग टू हैपन. Like I was telling you about how a consumer life cycle happens. We all start with a cycle, then we buy a motorcycle, then we buy a car, then we buy a SUV, then we buy a luxury car. Do you know what happens after this? Anybody? What happens after this? We again buy a cycle. That is what everybody is doing nowadays. They are again buying a cycle, right? So this is and where are we as a country? Where are we? People are still buying cycles. People are still buying motorcycles. People are still buying cars. In other countries, what is happening? People have already progressed behind. They've reached here or they've reached there. They've already progressed beyond that. We sell 2 crore cycles also every year. So that progression is going to happen with every stage. That is where the growth is going to come from. Can we stop it? No, I don't think anybody can stop it. Whether the communists come to power or anybody else comes to power, I think the momentum is there now. Who can stop it now? But the stock market is always going to be like a boxing ring. Boss, बॉक्सिंग रिंग के अंदर घुसोगे तो मार तो खानी पड़ेगी, थोड़ा बहुत तो मुंह पे लगेगी, गिरोगे भी, पर जीतेगा वही जो गिर के उठ जाएगा. जो गिर के वहीं रह गया तो वो तो जाएगा. So this is something which we always tell. It will always remain like this. But the risk is there in the short term. The risk is not there in the long term. So note to self is, you're not too old and it's not too late. Stop wishing. Please start doing. Please start your investment journey. Do you want to retire a billionaire? That is what we were talking about today. That is the whole purpose of this evening today. How do we retire as a billionaire? A billionaire, 100 crore rupees. So we've started this Sahayak Billionaire Club. The idea behind the Sahayak Billionaire Club is, it is our mission to create a minimum of 250 billionaires over the next 25 years. 250 people, whose net worth grows to 100 crores. And it is possible. I'm sure there are some people here who already have this net worth. But please, whoever has this net worth, please add 1 zero or a couple of zeros to it. What you wish for. empowering the 1 billion dream. You know, just to give you a small example, let's say a child is born in the house and you give that child a gift of 25 lakhs at the time of the child's birth. You know, when the child is 25 years, he'll have 10 crores. 30 years, he'll have 21 crores. 35 years, he'll have 45 crores. 40 years, he'll have 95 crores. And then almost 2 billion at the age of 45. And for this, the corpus needs to grow at 16%. And the stock market has given a return of more than 16% in the last 42 years. How to multiply your money? 100x. This is the kind of return that you need to multiply your money 100x. Let's say you were to start today, and if you were to multiply your money 100x, then this is the kind of return. We are looking at 14% return. 14%, 35 years, your money will be 100 times. The market has given 550 times in 40 years. But we are saying let's be conservative. 35 times will be 100x. How to achieve a corpus of 100 crores? 18% return, 15% return. What is the SIP which is required? 40 years, if you give it a 40-year horizon, 43,990. That is the only SIP which is required at a 15% growth. Again, we come to the same thing. Start a SIP for your child of 43,990, and after 40 years, the child can have 1 crore every month. That's what it is all about. So we are making a billionaire club. There are certain privileges we can share. Sorry, this is pixelating. So the process is very easy. Nothing. We're just asking for a small investment. Anybody who wants to become. There are already people who are, already a part of our billionaire club. Already are investors who already crossed those milestones. So they are a part of the billionaire club. So we welcome you. It is also called the 3 Comma Club abroad. So we welcome you to come and join this 3 Comma Club. Sahayak Associates, we position Sahayak Associates as your personal family CFO. We are your personal family CFO. Come to us for any advice related to investment on how to achieve your goals. We are on a mission to transform vast wealth into enduring legacy. That is what is our mission, as I told you. This is our services. We send a thank to all our partners who have supported us today. Thank you so much. Any questions, please? It's a question. Actually, yeah, it's a wonderful set of books. I agree. We are actually planning a session for millennials. If that is not a question, yeah, it was a feedback. Anybody else, please? Any questions?
Do you advise a mix of investments into real estate? Also, you want everything to be in equity only.
Boss, let me be very clear with you. We don't ever advise 100. We are not telling you to put 100% into equity. We are saying that we always tell you that, boss, have a very well diversified portfolio. Out of which some part should be real estate, some part should be fixed income, some part should be equity, some part should be gold. Gold is, again, apart from an investment maybe, it's a wonderful hedge. It's a wonderful hedge against equity. Whenever the equity markets go into a correction, you'll see that the gold market, has gone up. And gold, another very favorable thing for the gold has been that because gold is denominated in dollars abroad, we've been depreciating against the dollar by around 4.5% average over the last 35, 40 years. So a 4% growth in gold automatically comes in. And gold, we always tell our clients to have at least 5 to 7%, in gold, 5 to 7% invested in gold. So it has to be a mix of investments. Anybody else, please?
Sandeep, just a question.
Yeah.
Pre-demonetization,
Yeah.
what according to you was the percentage of our economy in terms of white and black? And post-demonetization today, what do you think is the percentage? And how do you think we are getting back to the point where pre-demonetization, whatever the situation was, the general feel is that we're getting back to the same point? And how does that augur for the economy?
See, I'll tell you, frankly, Ashu, I won't be able to, I'm not an expert on that part of the economy, but let me just make a wild guess. And let me just, put my thought to it and tell you, see, as we keep on growing, what is going to be happening is, see, because of the reforms in the tax structure which is happening, like for example, GST, it is becoming very difficult for the unorganized sector to work because of GST. Because a certain portion, a very major portion of your input credit is getting lost if you are not, claiming that credit. So slowly the shift from unorganized sector to organized sector is happening. So that is how, the change will happen. One. Second thing is, where was the, let's say, so-called black economy parking their money? It was mainly in real estate. But as the percentage of real estate in total wealth keeps on going down, and we've seen that financialization of assets is happening. So automatically the share of that part will keep on coming down. And the growth, people will realize, see, it is not only, I'll tell you another thing. I'll share a very interesting, experience that we had. We met an investor. He was not our client. We just went and met him. He was 75 years old. We went and met him, and we asked him to, his son had suggested that client to us. So we went and met him, and we asked him to share his portfolio with us. So he shared his portfolio with us, and we asked him, okay, what other investments do you have? And he said, this is all I have. That investment was close to 45 crores. And the entire thing was invested in mutual funds. And then we asked him why. He was an ideal client for us. We asked him, why have you invested everything in mutual fund? So he said, I want to have a peaceful death. So we said, यार peaceful death, हम तो peaceful life का सुना है, peaceful death क्या होता है? कहता बॉस, म्यूचुअल फंड्स में जो मुझे कन्वीनियंस मिलता है, कहता मुझे इस एज में क्या चाहिए? सबसे पहला चीज चाहिए ट्रांसपेरेंसी, कि मुझे कोई बुद्धू ना बनाए. कहता इसका खरीदने का रेट, बेचने का रेट सब सेम है. That is the first thing. Second thing is convenience. Everything is available on a demat form. I can trade, I can buy, sell, do whatever, wherever I want, sitting anywhere in the world. Whatever money I want, I can withdraw without any problems. And he said, after I die, I have made my nominations, I have done my everything. My children are possibly just going to come for my funeral. He said, after that, they won't have any problem. They just press two buttons and everything will get transferred to the name. So he said, what else do I want? So as people realize that it is very convenient, it is very transparent, and it gives you a better growth, this financialization of assets will happen. So that is I think that is the change which will happen.
And your thoughts on cryptocurrency?
So cryptocurrency, frankly, if you ask me, see, it's a currency. It has no underlying value. Everything, like when we invest in equity, there's an underlying value. We are investing in the shares of a company which has some assets, which has some earning capacity. Now, what is the crypto? Crypto is supposedly a currency, but it has no underlying value. It is a pure demand and supply play. I think it's totally FOMO which is happening. The fear of missing out. Everybody is thinking, यार मैं ना ये रेस में पीछे रह जाऊं तो मैं भी ले लेता हूं. So that is what is crypto. Crypto is not an investment. What we advise our clients is, because हमारी सुनते नहीं सब, पूरी तो सुनते भी नहीं, वैसे भी नहीं सुनते, तो हम उनको बोलते हैं भाई तुम ना 5-7% अपना कॉर्पस का जो मर्जी करते रहो, उसमें क्या होगा, तुम 50% ऊपर चले जाओगे या 50% नीचे चले जाएंगे, हम आपका कॉर्पस का ग्रोथ फिर भी संभाल लेंगे. So that is what we do. So crypto, according to me, today it is crypto, tomorrow it will be something else, day after it will be something else. It is not an investment idea at all.
Will you be investing on behalf of the investor, or will you be advising the investor?
No, so we don't invest on behalf of the investor. a demat account is open, which is in your name, right? We just tell you which is the, we make financial goals for you. We tell you how to reach those financial goals, and we tell you where to invest.
So you make a corpus
Yeah.
on behalf of the investor.
Yeah.
And you
But
advise
all the investment is in your name. A demat account, your demat account is open. The transactions happen through your bank accounts, whether you buy or you sell. But everything is to your bank account.
like the example you gave for the 75 years old.
Yeah, precisely.
So if somebody has a corpus and you would advise on the same corpus where to change or where to invest.
Precisely, sir.
Thank you.
Yep. Sorry? Yeah. Investment in the US markets. See, I'll tell you, today we are advising everybody, not today, in fact, right from the beginning we were advising everybody to have at least 10% of their portfolio in the international markets. And it is not only the US markets, it's US markets, the emerging markets. US markets specifically, I'll tell you why, especially for people who have dollar expenses. Let's say their children are going to be going abroad for an education, or you are going to be going for a vacation abroad every year, which will cost you a certain amount of money. So you need to hedge against the currency also. So you must have investments in let's say US dollar. See, another reason why we advise people to invest in the US markets is because those business models are not available here. For example, Apple, Google, Amazon, all these stocks are not available here. Second, if you look at most of the companies that we, products that we consume, whether it is Pepsi or anybody, similar kind of companies that we consume every day, all those companies are headquartered in the US, right? And they're listed in the US markets, they're not listed in India. So for that reason, you should also have an exposure in those markets. And the US market, I'll just tell you, that in the last 10 years, in the last decade in fact, not in the last, exactly in the last 10 years, but in the last decade, the US markets actually did far better than the Indian market. So you actually have to diversify across markets so that your returns are, you get those returns. Anybody else, please? I think we're ready to party now. Puneet, I'll just take 2 more minutes. I'll request my team to come onto the stage. I'll just introduce my team to you. Please, Sheetalaj. He doesn't trip normally, but today, I hope you have not had a drink so far. No. Good. Please come on. This is our team. It's a young team. They also have a lot of passion. As youngsters, they are at times impatient, but we keep on roping them in. I'd like to invite another person who's not strictly a part of our team, but she's almost become a part of our team, Ashna Vinod Gupta. Please come on. And she does all the creative work for us. She runs an agency. And if you are bombarded with all the messages on WhatsApp and all that, I think she's the culprit. So she has to be blamed, so not us. Thank you so much. I'll just request Puneet to give a small vote of thanks.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are here to take this opportunity to thank you for sparing your valuable time this Sunday to listen us. We hope you found this session useful and it will help you in dreaming bigger and achieving your dreams. Now, a billionaire. When used to say billionaire to my Scotch squad, my friends, they used to laugh, and it always recalled me about my school days when my sir used to say, don't waste water. One day it will cost you 20 rupees a bottle. And we also laughed that day. But actually it's true today. So tomorrow, yes, we can be a billionaire. We welcome you to join the Sahayak Billionaire Club and gift our membership to your children and grandchildren. We are grateful to our partners, NJ, AMCs, Aditya Birla, DSP, Motilal, Oswal, Nippon, Tata and SBI. And also Taj Chandigarh for being our hospitality partner. Kindly stay on for drinks and dinner We Sahayak team thank you all once again. Thank you.